Hey, okay. So it's taken, this lighting in here is terrible. It's taken me an eternity, this might just have to do it though, to get this video to you, so I'm so sorry about that. Okay, so, I hired this life coach to just kind of help me process things that I was, the stuff I've been going through, and then handle things on just a much better level, and then also be able to just do awesome, in life and my family, and being a great mom and a good wife, and doing rock my business and, do the things I want to do for my family. So, anyway, so if I get emotional during this, I'm sorry, but it's just the way it is. I'm an emotional person. Okay, so the thing that you have to determine and figure out is your pain, pleasure, purpose, and then your plan. So your pain of staying the same. So I'm reading notes, so I don't know this by heart. Your pain of staying the same has to be greater than the pain of change. Your pain of staying the same has to be greater than the pain of change. And these are just little notes that I wrote down. You are not your feelings. They are a choice. And then 80% of life is psychology and 20% is mechanics. So, all the time we're thinking, well, I'm not doing this right or I'm not doing that right. It's not about the mechanics. It's not about how you're doing something. It's not the things you're doing. It's the psychology of it. And so you have to learn to understand your purpose in life. And then everything that you do in life from this point on, after you figure out what this is, and this is a good starting point, and then I think hopefully we can, make it even deeper, and make it more precise, is to know your purpose is that everything will point towards that you do. So get out, hope you have a piece of paper and get a pen. If not, pause it and then come back and talk and listen. So the first thing is pain. So you have to answer yourself 3 questions. Question 1, what will you avoid at all costs? What will you avoid at all costs, just in general? And then question 2, what brings you pain more than anything on the planet? What brings you pain more than anything on the planet? And question 3, what is the most important thing for me to feel? So get all 3 of those questions answered, and then you can move on to pleasure. So pleasure, question 1, what feeling brings you most pleasure in all of life? Not a thing, not a person. What feeling brings you most pleasure in all of life? Question 2, what does my ideal day look like, feel like, smell like, taste like? If all things were right in the world, what does your day look like? If you don't know what it looks like, how are you supposed to attain it? You're working towards every single day to do this unknown thing for this unknown reason. And you're never going to get there because you don't know what it is. So that way, whenever you actually get there, you're like, oh my gosh, I've made it. I have made it. So I'm passionate. Sorry. I'm excited about this. Question 3, what is the ripple effect of that? So say you had your ideal day. What's the ripple effect of that? Okay. Question 4, how does whatever you're doing in your life right now align with your purpose? So you don't know that yet, but you need to figure out what are the things you're doing in your life right now, because you want to make sure that they align with your purpose. And if they don't, sorry, gotta go. Like it's not for you. So once you know until you know what brings you pain and purpose, you can't set boundaries. And the only time you say yes is when it meets the pleasure factor. So boundaries are healthy. Boundaries are good. And so until you know what your pain and pleasure is, you don't even know how to set those boundaries, those healthy boundaries. And you don't even know, you're just saying yes to everything. But the only reason you need to say yes to something is if it's aligning with your pleasure factor, okay, and aligning with your purpose. Okay, so now your purpose. So this is like a little bit crazy, but it really works. So what is your big, scary goal in life? What is your big, scary goal in life? Okay, now once you get that answered, ask yourself, why do you want that? And then whatever the answer is, well, why do you want that? And then whatever the answer is, why do you want that? So you ask that 7 times. Why do you want that 7 times? You're going to have 7 different answers, and eventually you're going to break it down smaller and smaller. In the beginning, it's something that's really big, giant thing, and then it gets down to something, and that is the heart of it. That is the meat and potatoes of your purpose in life. Okay? So that brings you to your plan. So what your question is, what's my outcome? What's my purpose? Okay? So the way you get to this is you brain dump all the possibilities. All of the possibilities of how you're going to get to this point. Everything. You can have 100 things. Don't slow your brain down from rationalizing things. I mean, it can be stupid, it can be crazy, it can be insane, it can be easy, it can be silly. Don't stop your brain from writing down all the ways that you're going to get to that purpose. Write down as many as you can possibly think of. Just totally brain dump it. And so then you can ask yourself, well, what happens when I don't do that? And then what happens when I do that? Okay? If it's a possibility, then brain dump it. Then pick your top 20% and start making action. So whatever it is, pick your top 20%. If you have 100 things, then I'm horrible at math, but I don't know. Whatever that is. 20, I think it'd be 20, right? Then you can start making action on those 20 things. 80% of your success comes from 20% of your success. I love that. 80% of your success comes from 20% of your success. So, just a couple of other notes. It only works if you're feeling it. If you only think it, it's not going to work. So you have to be attached to it. That's why knowing your pleasure and knowing your pain and knowing your purpose, you have to be attached to that so that you can move on, so that you can go forth, so that you can do great things. But you can't do that if you have no feeling. If it's just something you're thinking about or something I've got to do this, then it's not worth it. So whatever your, so this is really interesting. It's all about redirecting your brain, right? So in times of frustration, in times of sadness, in the hard times, where do you go? What emotional state do you go to? Do you go to sadness? Do you go to depression? Do you go to sulking? Do you go to self-pity? Whatever it is, realize where you go to. Really know where you go to. And then change that. So whatever your emotional home is, that's where you go when things get hard. So that's your emotional home. You have to make a choice to redirect. Okay, baby, good job. Did you eat all your chicken? Okay, mommy's almost done with her video. 1 second. You have to make a choice to redirect that new emotional home. So if you want your new emotional home to be thankfulness, to be joy, to be happiness, whatever. So whenever in pain, you said, what is the most important thing for me to feel? The opposite of that. Then that is the thing that needs to be your new emotional home, right? So every time that you're going down that path of, oh, well, of course it's all my fault, or, for me, that's how it is for me, or whatever it is, then you have to redirect that path. But it's a conscious choice. It's a battle. I mean, you have to fight that. But I have to say that that's what Satan wants us to do. He doesn't want us to fight the battle. He wants us to give in to our selfish desires and caring about me, and so, anyway, so answer those questions. And then if you want, get back to me and let me know what you think of it or how it went for you. And if you'd like help diving deeper into it, then, I mean, I'm by no means a professional life coach, but I can definitely try to help. But this was really powerful for me. I'm not going to tell you my answers because I don't want it to affect anything that you think or say or do. But we can definitely talk about my answers if you want after you figure yours out. So anyway, let me know what you think. Love you. Bye.